Okay, is this thing on? We are back, guys, with another Night Owl session of True Crime Metrix. Going all the way back to 2019 today. We've kind of given Katherine Magbanua a lot of space. We haven't even touched her trial testimony from Charlie Adelson's trial in 2023. We haven't touched any of her own testimonies. We haven't looked into her at all. And, I was thinking last night after I woke up and continued the stream that we went on to General Isom to have a look at his testimony. And actually, because we did that whole series about Wendy's interview with him and whether or not he's a silver fox or a dumb donut eating cop, and his testimony actually turned into a really good thing. And I thought it would only be fair if we covered the whole testimony instead of just having a little look. But I remembered that a lot of his testimony is about Katherine Magbanua because he was also very involved in her investigation, not just Wendy's investigation. And in fact, most of his work that he was able to do before he retired was based on Katie, not Wendy, because Wendy shut up, right? Hey, Kazati, from Yorkshire, not Bolton. What part of Yorkshire? Hebden Bridge. Huddersfield, Bradford. Yeah. That's why you've got tea in your name. You're crazy about tea up there, huh? I like tea too. I just don't drink it very much anymore. Sheffield, even better. Nice town, surrounded by all those hills. Okay, good. What are we doing tonight, guys? We're looking at Katie's testimony, but first, hi, Alwyn, another European. We're Europe only today, folks, which makes my next presentation all the more inappropriate. I just wanted to share with our American cousins the map that we've been building of our reach in the US, because most of our audience is in the US. No offense to Ireland or Sheffield. In fact, I think Sheffield should become its own country. Yeah, where is our map? Where is our map? Yeah, so check this out, guys. This is all the states that we know we've hit. I think there's been talk of people tuning in from Mississippi, but I'm not sure yet. So if you're an American right now, let us know what state you're in, because we don't want to stop until we've hit all 50. But I'm betting that Wyoming, Rhode Island. Wow, Alwyn, thanks so much for the super sticker. We haven't even begun. Straight out of the gate. Love it. Irish style. What part? Cork? Dublin? Donegal? What's the other place? What's the one from Angela's Ashes? It's always raining. I can't remember. Hey, Udi, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I know you're in Florida. Galway. Oh, nice. Nice. That's it's a university town, I believe. Anyway, enough of this map talking, guys. Maybe we should get right to the video and the stream. Udi, thank you for your attempts to save me from my own sleep. Yeah, Limerick. Limerick is the one from Angela's Ashes. Okay, how do I, there's too much going on. There's too much going on. We got the chat, we got the super stickers. Yeah, and now we're going to go to the stream. Irene Butler. Where are you based, Irene? And Albert. I think Albert must be in the States. You see the map, Albert? Okay, you're in NYC. We've got you covered. We're building this map, guys, of the true crime metrics US domination. Yeah. The red states are the states that we've hit already. Okay, Oregon got another one for the books. Got another one for the books. Have you been to Crater Lake? There we go. Okay. Okay, we're going to welcome everybody in the chat, and we're going to kick right off with the sharing this tab, Katie's testimony. Let's see what happens. This time, the defense calls Katherine Magbanua to the stand. Oh, and let me know everything's good with the audio, guys. Are the levels the same? Video and my voice, are they about equal? That's important.
You would face the clerk and be sworn, please, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Have a seat. Slide up the microphone, please, ma'am.
Okay, thanks, Udi.
May proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, Albert, I'm sorry. I don't mean to ask the same question twice. It's just because Jodi Arias is always going on about Crater Lake. We haven't covered her yet, but we will be. And yeah, sorry. I know it's annoying too. I try to remember talking to everybody, but there's so many damn people in the chat. God, it's difficult to remember what's going on sometimes.
Good morning, Ms. Magbanua. Good morning. I'm going to ask that if you can get closer to the microphone. If at any point I feel like you might be too low, the court might instruct you just to speak a little louder. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And okay. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your name for the court reporter?
Good morning. My name is Katherine Magbanua, Katherine, Magbanua, Magbanua.
Now, Ms. Magbanua, before you took the stand today,
Yes, ma'am.
you and I had a discussion. You understand that you do not have to testify today.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it completely your decision to take the stand today?
Yes, ma'am.
A room.
Okay. Now, how are you feeling?
Nervous?
Okay. Now, if I'm going too fast, just let me know and I'll try and slow down. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to take you back right now. Well, let's ask the most important question. Did you have anything to do with the murder of Dan Markel?
No, ma'am.
Did you get the father of your children, Mr. Garcia, to commit a murder on behalf of Mr. Charlie Adelson?
No, ma'am.
Now I'm going to take you all the way back, not too far back,
Okay.
but to around the area of 2013,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? Now, when is the first time that you met Charlie Adelson?
I was working at a dental office in South Beach, and it was Sophie Dental.
Okay. Now, what does Sophie stand for?
South of 5th, I believe.
Okay, and that would be on Miami Beach, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at that time in 2013, what were you doing at Sophie Dental? What was your job description?
I was working in front desk, receptionist, and like insurance verification, like clerical work for the office.
Yeah, okay. It didn't require you to have any specialized knowledge in dentistry?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did Charles Adelson work at Sophie Dental?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, was he a employee of Sophie Dental or was he like a subcontractor?
A subcontractor. He was a specialist.
Now, explain what that, how it is that he works with Sophie Dental being a specialist.
We have a periodontist, and we would just schedule him out whenever there's patients that needed to be seen by a specialist.
Like whoever needed his specialized services?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you said what kind of dentist was he?
A periodontist.
Do you remember the first time you actually met?
Not to my knowledge, no. Like he walked into the office, but the girls just told me he's one of the specialists.
Okay. Now, how is it that you two started to communicate outside of the work arena?
I believe like he was asking a couple of the girls, if I was single, and then he took down my number, or I think he put his number on my phone. I told him I already have your phone number because the doctors tell us to, text to see if, they can call the office and then schedule out patients for them or whatever their schedule is.
Okay. And so
Charlie's just walking into Sophie Dental, taking her phone and putting his number in it. Smooth, Charlie.
Or availability.
How about you concentrate on your dental work, Charlie? Hey, does anyone know if she's single? That girl over there, the Asian-looking girl. He's got this thing about Asian women, hasn't he? That's his main thing.
this time, are you broken up with Mr. Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you living with him?
No, ma'am.
You've already kicked him out of the house.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, moving over to Mr. Garcia. How long have you known Mr. Garcia?
A little over 15 years.
How did you meet Mr. Garcia?
Through mutual friends, like we just hung out one day. I don't remember. It's so long ago. I was young.
Did you guys meet in high school?
No, it was after high school.
You didn't go to the same high school as Mr. Garcia?
No.
Oh.
No.
Now, were you a teenager when you started dating?
Yeah, I was 18, 19, I believe.
Okay. Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many children do you have?
2.
Okay. How old are they now?
They're 12 and 7.
Your son is 12?
Yes, ma'am.
And your daughter is 7?
Yes, ma'am.
Is Mr. Garcia the father of both of your children?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to college?
Yes, ma'am.
What college did
Hi, Ian. Hi, Maria. Good to see you guys.
you go to?
University of Central Florida.
Where is that located?
That's in Orlando.
Did you get your degree?
Yes, ma'am.
What degree did you get?
In Health Services Administration.
Now, while you were in
Well, that's a good fit for someone doing clerical work in a dental office, isn't it?
college, is that when you became pregnant with Ethan?
Yes, ma'am.
Was Mr. Garcia living with you in Orlando
Yes. By that time, he moved up, I believe. Yeah.
to be with you
Yes, ma'am.
and the baby?
Yes, ma'am.
And after you graduated, did you remain in Orlando?
I believe only for like a couple months, but I went back
Hey,
down to
BB here. No, yes. Is BB here in the States? And Stevie Love. Look, guys, we're building this map, okay? We're building this map of our true crime metrics reach. So if you're in the States, let us know what state, unless you're already in red. We got California, Montana, Arizona, Alaska, Texas, Minnesota, Alabama, Florida, North Carolina, and New York. But we need a lot more.
Miami because I needed to start working and he needed a babysitter for my son.
Now, how would you describe your relationship with Mr. Garcia at the time that you were living in Orlando?
It was great.
No problems at that time?
No problems.
So you
Okay, Washington and Missouri coming up. Illinois, fantastic. 3 more states. God, won't be long now, will it?
moved back to Miami.
Yes.
What family do you have that lives in Miami?
My mom and my dad and one of my brothers was still living down there.
And when you moved back, were you living with your mom or where was she living?
When I moved back down, I believe I stayed a little bit with Sigfredo's sister
Okay.
while he was taking care of stuff in Orlando until like he moved back down. And I lived in the apartment
And do you remember where that apartment was in 2013?
around the same area, like North Bay Village.
And that's in Miami-Dade, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you and Mr. Garcia get married?
No, ma'am.
Do you consider him your husband?
Yes, ma'am.
Why didn't you get married to Mr. Garcia? Why didn't you guys get married?
Maybe we've been dating for such a long time, so when I think initially we were going to finally get married, that's when things kind
Thanks, California Amy, who's in California. That'd be pretty weird if you were in Wyoming. But we need Wyoming. Somebody needs to tune in from Wyoming if they can. Philadelphia, okay. It's not a state, but we'll put Pennsylvania down.
of started getting bad.
Now, when you say things started getting bad, are you talking about your relationship with Mr. Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you mean by things were getting bad?
No, we were just fighting a lot and just normal boyfriend, girlfriend stuff, I guess.
Were there any specific issues you were having with Mr. Garcia?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I went through his phone one day and it's like I just started seeing stuff that I wasn't happy about.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that you found other women's contact information?
Exception, Judge. Overruled.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a suspicion he was cheating on you?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge. Objection.
Can we come sidebar, Your Honor?
Yeah, we can go sidebar.
I was going to say Katherine Magbanua has really put on a bit of weight in the 3 years she's been awaiting trial, but so Sigfredo, and so did Charlie. I mean, what are they feeding the prisoners in Leon County? It's, I bet Donna's not going to gain 1 pound, man. She'll probably lose weight. What do you think about these cops that have to stay in the courtroom, huh? I mean, we only see them on the trials that are, gripping and we like to watch. But I think in reality, most trials, most stuff that happens in a courtroom is incredibly boring and dry and nothing happening for days and days and days. And doesn't that show on this guy's face and body language? What is he thinking? Is he thinking he wants to be there? It doesn't look like it, does it? He's thinking he might take that job at Target. The security guard job at Target has just opened up, and he's thinking about a change in career. He's thinking, would there be special benefits? Would I get like 25% off? Maybe I would get 25% off. Hey, Maria, Gabriel says, no one goes through my phone. What do you got, a 25-digit passcode on there, Maria? What are you hiding?
Proceed.
Now, we talked about when things start to become rocky with your relationship with Mr. Garcia, okay? We're now, when did you and Mr. Garcia officially have a big breakup?
Like when as in like the year?
So let me do this. Was it fair to say you guys were constantly breaking up and getting back together?
Yes.
In 2013, when you met Charlie Adelson, you and him had broken up officially.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's the first time you actually kicked him out of your house or
Yes,
your
ma'am.
home.
Yes.
Do you, in 2013, when did that breakup happen in relation to you working at Sophie Dental? So we can just have a general idea of when that happened.
I believe like towards the end of the year,
Let me ask you this. When was Kaylee born? When was her birthday?
May
May
30th,
Okay, May 30th of what year?
2012.
All right. When Kaylee was born, were you and Mr. Garcia still together?
Yes, ma'am.
When she had her first birthday, were you still together?
Yes, ma'am.
But you know you broke up with him before you met Charlie Adelson in late 2013.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You can't give me a specific date.
No.
Did a specific incident occur that caused you to break up with him?
I believe so. Yeah, there was like a phone call where his phone kind of called me by accident. I kind of overheard him talking about something to one of his friends about a girl maybe, and I was done.
And when you were done, he was
God,
getting,
imagine if we had that call on the wiretaps, huh? What was he saying? Bad luck, Sigfredo, man. You know, watch your shit.
with you at the time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Who else was living in your home?
My mom.
Okay. And so after you was kicked out, it's just you, your mom, and your kids.
Yes, ma'am.
Was this a serious separation?
Yes. At this time, yes.
Did Mr. Garcia try to get back together with you?
Yes.
How did he do that?
I mean, I've been with him forever, so it, like he'd say the right things and we try to work it out again.
But you never, in this time when you began dating Mr. Adelson, you never,
No, never got back together.
how did you get the job at Sophie Dental?
I believe one of my high school friends was working there, but she couldn't take the hours. So she told me, oh, you do great in this office. So I applied and got the job there.
And at that time, what other jobs were you doing? Was it just Sophie Dental?
I believe I was doing like promotions. Like
Now,
Uh-huh.
promotions.
Yes.
You seen a picture of you at a bar.
yes,
Was that the promotions job?
an event. One of them, yes.
Describe for the jury what this promotions entailed.
Okay, I worked for a certain liquor company, and then we'd go and we kind of give samples in liquor stores and just kind of get feedback from the customers on like what they think about the product.
And then what is your incentive to do this? Are you paid?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you paid?
We would get tips, like if we did it like at a certain liquor store and that like owner would be, like would allow us to get some type of tips for giving out the drinks. And also like, I think at that time, the company gave me checks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think it could be checks, but you know for certain you are getting cash.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember how much you would average make at these promotions?
Not at that time, no.
Was it ever something that was stable or something that fluctuated?
It fluctuated.
Now, when Mr. Adelson, Charlie Adelson, started calling you, was it clear to you that he wanted something more than a friendship?
Yes.
Did he make that clear to you?
I mean, I assumed.
Okay. And by that, I mean, he didn't beat around the bush about his intentions of dating.
No.
Was he pretty upfront about his attraction to you?
Yes.
Now, in the beginning, did you immediately start dating him?
No.
Did this progress over time?
Well, it's hard to like have two children, and my daughter was really, I mean, both of them were really small at that time. So I don't have that luxury to just go out whenever I can.
But you did eventually have a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship.
Yes.
All right. Do you remember what your first official date was with him?
No.
So I'm gonna try and move a little forward to another big event to
Okay.
see if we can, plot some times. New Year's Eve is normally a big event for people.
Yes, ma'am.
So on this New Year's Eve in 2000.
Defense counsels that are working with an obviously guilty client really take their time in the build-up, don't they? They want to build this image to the jury and make her, really humanize her and say, "So, were you busy with your infant child?" It's like, what is the point of this for deciding whether or not she was involved in the homicide? So when you went through Sigfredo's phone and you saw that he was with other women, okay, maybe you could say that has something to do with it, but all this other stuff, it's like, rein them in, man.
2013, were you dating Charlie at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So did you guys go out together?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember what you did on that New Year's Eve, like where you went?
I think we celebrated it like in Hard Rock Cafe
What you did in New Year's Eve?
in casino. Like there's some clubs there, and like we just went with a couple friends.
The one in Fort Lauderdale?
Yes.
The one that, you don't know. Okay. And it's a Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
Yes.
All right.
California Amy says Donna runs the prison early bird yoga group. Is that for real? Are you serious?
How often would you say you and Mr. Adelson were communicating around this time?
Daily.
Dating. In what ways would you communicate? If you could describe for the jury.
Through phone.
And what mediums would you use? Would it only be calls, FaceTime, WhatsApp? What do you remember using to call him? Text messages?
Yeah, text messaging and regular phone calls.
And just regular phone calls. Now, did you ever consider yourselves boyfriend and girlfriend?
And we never put that, that label like boyfriend, girlfriend, but yeah, I guess. I mean, we were hanging out a lot.
And when you guys would talk to each other, you'd call each other baby.
Yeah.
Would you say things like, if you end a conversation, you'd say, I love you?
Yeah.
But in terms of it being a serious relationship, Were you ever looking for him to move in with you?
No.
Was there ever any discussion about that?
No.
Was there any
Christina, we're on a strict time limit today, and here on out, we've got to keep it down to around 2 hours. Personally, I think 2.5 is more realistic. You know, it does take a while to go through these guys. You know, it's not a clip show; it's real time.
discussion ever about marriage?
No.
And how busy was Charlie Adelson at this time in terms of working?
I think he's always busy. I think he's always, you know, he has a lot of patients, like all over Miami-Dade and Broward,
And then
even
you,
up further up. I don't know how far his patients go.
but he travels
Up and down. Yeah.
all through Dade, West Palm,
Yes.
all those counties to do his specialty, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you see each other every day?
At that time,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
but you did talk every day.
Yes.
How would you describe Mr. Charlie Adelson in terms of how much he talks?
A lot.
You were listening to some of the phone calls that were played in court, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And some of those are fair and accurate representation of
How he talks.
conversations that you guys have.
Yes, ma'am.
Seems like he goes off on a tangent sometimes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, were you in a sexual relationship with Mr. Adelson?
Yes, ma'am.
But you were not exclusive with him?
No, ma'am.
Now, I know this is going to be a little uncomfortable. Were you still having a sexual relationship with Mr. Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
How often?
Whenever we would kind of get back together, I guess.
Was it as frequent as how much you were having sex with Mr. Adelson at that time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Describe your relationship with
Wow, I bet Sigfredo loved listening to that. He's right there in the joint trial. We just hear this chair be thrown across the room in the background. Oh, he's probably chained to the floor.
Mr. Garcia at the time that you're dating Charlie?
He was just always kind of in and out. He was around because of the kids, so, but he
was just always kind of in and out. Okay, I'm not going to touch that one. Too much class.
be in and out of my life.
Okay. Did you talk to him or try to talk to him almost every day?
I believe so,
And why was that?
because of the kids.
All right. And did you also communicate with him through text messages and phone calls?
Yes, ma'am.
To your knowledge, did Mr. Garcia know about your relationship with Mr. Adelson?
Yeah,
Okay. Did Mr. Adelson know about your relationship with Mr. Garcia?
yes,
Did Mr. Adelson always support or encourage you to get back together with Mr. Garcia?
yes,
Did he always say, you know, that's the father of your kids?
yeah,
Did you feel that was also a reminder to you that this wasn't anything serious with Mr. Adelson?
with the way he always says that, yeah.
Always
That's why I just knew it wasn't something serious. It wasn't gonna be forever.
Now, would there be times around that time that you wouldn't be able to find Mr. Garcia?
Yes,
Was that normal that he would be missing for days at a time?
yes, ma'am.
When that happened and you needed to get in touch with him, would you constantly text and call his phone?
Yes, in terms of blowing up his phone, yes,
Okay, I didn't want, but that's the term. You were blowing up his phone.
yes,
If you needed something from him, you weren't shy about continuously trying to get in touch with him.
yes.
All right. Now I'm going to try to move forward to about March of 2014. Did you ever meet Charlie Adelson's sister, Wendy Adelson?
Just before we move forward to questions about Wendy, remember, guys, to like the video, share the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, have a look at this as well. Can we see that? Yeah, if you're in the States and your state is not currently in red, let us know where you are. We're building a map of all the places we exist in the land of freedom here. Yeah, it's getting pretty red, you know, getting pretty red. I think we might have hit a few more, but these are the only ones I could remember. So take a quick look, and we'll be back to the video.
In March of 2014.
Well, have you ever met her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you remember where the first time was that you met her?
Yes, ma'am. We ate like a early dinner.
Okay. And was she there with someone else?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You now know who Jeffrey Lacoste is, right?
Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
And is that the person that she was at the dinner with?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you were there with Mr. Adelson?
Yes, ma'am.
What's not really true, Christina? Something I said, or in the comments?
All right. Was the restaurant that you were eating at, were you sitting outside?
Yes, ma'am.
And this was late afternoon, still daylight?
Yes, ma'am.
You had any indication that Mr. Garcia knew that you were at that restaurant?
No.
Okay.
If you would answer out loud, it would help. Chris.
No, ma'am. Sorry.
Does it sound like a fair representation that that occurred in March of 2000?
Neville Darling, she graduated UCF with a degree in, what was it? Business administration for medical offices or something. So, you know, that's great. That's an achievement, but it's not a, you know, a doctorate in engineering or anything.
2014?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But you wouldn't be able to tell me what exact date that happened?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Now, another big day in May is Kaylee's birthday.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So that's May 30th.
Mhm.
This would now be in 2014, so it's her second birthday.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember what you did for Kaylee?
Yeah, I had like a small little birthday party in the apartment.
The apartment you were living at what location?
That was in Treasure Drive.
Treasure Drive. Is that on the beach or is that,
It's like next to the water.
okay.
Yeah, it's like condominium.
You saw all of the
Cell phone.
cell phone towers and the maps and where you are on that little island. Is
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
that's what the Treasure Beach Drive location is?
Yeah, that's North Bay Village.
North Bay Village,
Mhm.
okay, thank you. So you did a small cutting of the cake. Did Mr. Garcia show up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how long did he show up for?
Like an hour, probably. Like it was fairly quick. I can't like put a specific time, but I know he showed up, took a couple pictures, and then left.
Okay, and at this time, you're still dating Mr. Adelson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Around this time, do you remember what car Mr. Garcia was driving?
Not that I can remember.
Do you remember him renting any cars?
Not that I can remember.
Did you take him to go rent a car at Comfort Rental by the airport?
No.
And you testified you didn't have knowledge of Sigfredo's day-to-day, where he was every single day.
Yeah, no.
Would you ask him?
I can't remember at that time. Maybe I did. Like I'd ask him like, where have you been? And then, but that's it. Half the time at that time, I don't think I was asking so many questions.
Okay, because you weren't together.
Yeah. And he probably wouldn't have told me anyways.
Now, I want to talk to you about July 1st of 2014, okay? Do you remember a day when Mr. Garcia confronted you and Mr. Adelson?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to talk to you about this. Did Mr. Garcia come and pick up the kids from you that day?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What were your plans for that day?
To go out on the jet ski.
Whose jet ski?
Charlie's.
He owned jet skis.
Yeah,
How many?
he had one.
Just one. Okay. What car was Mr. Adelson driving at the time?
The Lexus.
The Lexus that you were arrested in.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I will get to that. So did Mr. Garcia know that you needed him to watch the kids so that you could go out with Mr. Adelson?
I mean, I probably told him that I had to go out or I had plans.
Would you have told him it was Mr. Adelson?
No.
Why?
Because he didn't like him.
So Mr. Garcia comes and he picks up the kids. And by kids, I mean Ethan and Katie.
Yes, ma'am.
What car do you remember him driving at that time?
I believe he had like a Volvo, like a old little bucket car.
What does that mean, a bucket car?
It's like a cheap car,
Okay.
like
Do you remember what color or anything like that?
a blue, I think.
So he picks up the kids. Where does he take them, if you know?
He took them to go eat, like around the corner, there's like a pizza place down the block. I think he took them out to go eat.
Now, after he picks up the kids and leaves, who comes and picks you up?
Charlie.
Okay. And you get in the car with him?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you guys are just gonna go and take the jet skis out?
Yes, ma'am.
What happens, well, how, you pull out, Mr. Adelson does.
Mhm.
How far does he get away from your apartment?
Probably down like a block.
And then what happens?
Sigfredo cut us off
Okay, in what?
in the car, on the car.
Now, describe for the jury what you mean cut you off. Like, did he, describe for them.
Oh, like we were driving out of our parking lot and then he cut us off like right in front. Like he went around us and cut us off and blocked the street.
Did Mr. Adelson have to slam on his brakes to stop?
Yes.
Were your children in the car with Mr. Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
Did Mr. Garcia get out of the car?
Yes, ma'am.
What was he doing?
Screaming in the middle of the street
At who?
at us.
Did you guys roll down the windows?
No.
Do you have any idea what he was yelling?
No.
Was he yelling in Spanish or English?
I don't know.
What did Mr. Adelson do?
Well, he was freaking out. He was trying to figure out how he can make a turn to go the other way around with the jet ski like hitched in the back.
Okay, so he didn't get out the car and confront Mr. Garcia?
No.
Okay. He just got out of there.
Yes.
Was he successful in his attempt to get away from Mr. Garcia?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Garcia didn't actually physically attack the car or anything.
No.
Okay. Now, who is
So there are 666 other terms for ghetto. We could say slum, hood, skid row, favela, district, neighborhood, shantytown, quarter, precinct, barrio. Personally, I think none of them really mean ghetto in the way that we're using it. I didn't know. Is that a bad word? What's the problem with ghetto? I'm not saying there isn't one, but I didn't know. Confines. Yeah, she's definitely in confines now. From the ghetto to the confines.
in trouble?
Like a high school friend. She's younger.
Okay. And you saw Yindra here
Maria, her kids went to her mother's. It's keeping it in the family.
in court, right?
Yes,
Miss
ma'am.
Mascaro,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? And you and her are very close friends, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you both working at the clubs
Or brother, Angela, maybe. Okay.
together?
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to first talk about Hollywood Live, all right? Where is Hollywood Live?
In Hollywood Ave, I believe.
In Fort Lauderdale?
I believe that's like in the beginning of Fort Lauderdale, yeah.
It's not one of the clubs that is at the Hard Rock.
No, ma'am.
It's a separate establishment. Okay. How did you get the job at Hollywood Live?
Hey, riding shotgun. How you doing tonight? Wichita, huh? So we'll make Kansas a red state. And congratulations on feeling comfortable enough to admit that. Just kidding.
I believe through friends, or because I was working in another club before that, and when you work with other girls and bottle service, they kind of like recommend you, like, oh, there's this other club too that you make good money at.
Do you remember what the first club you started working at was?
Fate.
Fate was the first club that you were working at. Okay, so you started working at Fate and then got another job at Hollywood Live.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now you keep saying bottle service. Describe for the jury what bottle service is.
Okay, we have like VIP sections in, the establishment and the club, and basically we have, we service the people in the VIP with the bottles. We take them out with the sparklers, make a big scene, like take pictures, like dance a little bit, I guess, for the customers, and then just make them feel special.
Okay. Now part of your job is how you dress, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's expected you to dress provocatively
Yes, ma'am.
with probably as little clothes as is allowed
Yes, ma'am.
without you being arrested or anything, right?
Yes.
And that is because that's going to get you more tips, right?
Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
An average night, because you've heard a lot of testimony about how much money you made. What was a good night for you at the club?
A good night for me. I can walk out of there with $1,000 to $1,500.
Now, let me ask you this. Certain nights are better than other nights, right?
Of course. Mhm.
So what is probably the best night of the week?
A Saturday, or if there's like some artist or somebody that's gonna be performing in the club,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get, people
High
that.
roller clients.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And Friday, a good day to work too?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
It can
Did
be
you
in the
own-
middle.
Oh,
It can
go
be
ahead.
in the middle of the week. It could be like a Wednesday night.
Especially if someone is making a special appearance. at the
Yes.
club. Was your schedule set every week with specific days, or you could
No.
pick up and drop shifts?
Yeah.
How often would you work? Give me an average, because I know it wasn't the same every week, but would you work sometimes more than 2 nights a week?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And sometimes you would work 1 night a week?
Yeah. If we knew that it was gonna be like a slow month,
Mhm.
and if we come in on a Friday and it didn't seem like we're really making much, majority of the time on Saturday, like we'll try to trade off shifts. That's another thing you can do. You can trade off shifts with the girls. Like, can you come in for me? And then, they're very lenient about it.
Okay, and that's how it is in the service industry.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody's picking up each other's shifts.
Mhm.
Now, did you report your cash tips?
No, ma'am.
You didn't report them on any tax returns?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Why not?
Because they're my cash tips. Like, none of the girls really did it.
Okay, now you understand that you haven't paid taxes on that cash,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Okay. And you do understand that you are supposed
Yes, ma'am.
to report all of your cash so you can pay the federal government, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But you did not.
I did not.
Okay. Would you save up a certain amount of cash and keep it at home?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you deposit everything that you made cash-wise into the bank?
Yes, ma'am.
You did?
Cash wise, like I'd save up, and then whenever I get a chance, then I would deposit it.
Okay. So you wouldn't go, for example, like every Friday after a shift or every
No.
Saturday?
No.
Okay. How many bank accounts do you have?
2
How long
or
have you
more
had? Oh, from which 2 banks do you go to?
to change.
We be ignorant. Okay, I feel like I should jump in on this whole this whole accent way of talking, vernacular being relevant to whether or not Katie sounds like she went to college. Well, number one, she did a pretty, a degree that's not really, a specialist subject. It's not law, it's not medicine, it's not scientific, it's business administration, back in the day that would have been learning to type, touch type. That was it. So, I mean, I don't want to put anyone down, but, it's like, it's not a high level kind of degree. So, it's the sort of thing where someone who didn't go to college at all could do a very similar job. So, and, it's not the way she it's not just the way she talks that has an impact on whether she sounds educated, college educated or not. It's what she's saying. She sounds kind of dumb, and part of that is because she's lying and trying to feign a bad memory and stuff like that. But we also heard her on the wires, right? Screaming at Sigfredo, whinging at Charlie, blah 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 blah. She's just, I think if we can use the word ghetto, she's a ghetto girl. Her boyfriend's a criminal, a long-term parent of the child's just some, hustling, violent criminal, a cokehead, that's a ghetto girl. So could someone have exactly the same accent as her and have a degree in medicine? Why not? Sure. But it's there's a lot of other context that comes into play when we judge Katie.
Ace and to Bank of America
How long have you had 2 bank accounts?
since I guess I opened.
Okay.
I mean, since I was probably 16, 17.
Oh, okay, so you've always had 2 separate bank
I
accounts, right?
believe so, yeah.
Okay, so there would be bank records dating all the way back.
I believe so. I don't know how far back though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone by the name of Dan Markel? Well, did you back then know someone by the name of Dan Markel?
No, ma'am.
In 2014, you've learned that Wendy Adelson's divorce was already finalized, right?
I learned it here.
In court.
Yes.
Now, when you had that meeting, well, not really a meeting, but when you had the dinner and Miss Adelson showed up with Mr. Lacasse,
Yes, ma'am.
do you remember at that time, was she talking about her divorce?
Not that I can recall.
Did you know at that time that she was married or had been married?
Not that I can recall.
Okay.
I know she probably talked about her kids because that's something, like I talk about my kids and then it kind of.
Hi, Stevie. Yeah, if someone bothers you, you can just block them. But let's all try and keep it friendly in the chat, guys. We don't want arguments. But just for the record, I really don't think anyone was saying that people from the ghetto can't be educated. I just think that there's been a bit of a misunderstanding somewhere, within our chat, and it really doesn't need to be a big issue from anyone,
Makes conversation like, oh, you have kids, and how old are they? It's like,
No, she never went into any specifics with you about how tumultuous her divorce was?
No.
You ever exchanged phone numbers with Wendy Adelson?
No, ma'am.
You guys didn't talk on the phone?
No, ma'am.
You're not friends with her?
No, ma'am.
All right. You knew her mostly as Charlie Adelson's sister?
Yes.
Now, that time that you had that dinner in March, that's not the only time you guys hung out.
No, ma'am.
there was another time that you hung out with Yinja, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I think we established that that was Father's Day of that
Yes,
year. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, ma'am.
Why, when you heard Father's Day, you started nodding your head like, yes, that's right?
Well, because I saw the picture,
Mhm.
and then when I saw the picture and they said Father's Day, I was like, oh, okay, that's probably why I wasn't with the kids, because Sigfredo had the kids.
Mr. Garcia would have had them on
Yes.
Father's Day.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
What year are we talking about?
2014. Well, as far as you know, they were with him. Could they have been with his mother,
Maybe,
his sister?
maybe.
Has someone got a link to this prison dating site ad for Katie? I'd love to share that to our group because I think I have seen it, but a while ago. But surely there's some people in the chat that have never seen it. Let's get a link up, guys.
You didn't
But
check,
it was his, yeah, like it was his day.
it's his turn.
Yeah, to have them.
So apart, did you know, you said she had mentioned her kids.
Mhm.
Did she mention anything about a custody battle or anything like that to you?
No, ma'am.
Did she talk negatively about her ex-husband at all in your presence? Now, I want to talk to you about, you've met Donna Adelson and Harvey Adelson,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Okay. In your presence, did they ever talk about Wendy and her divorce in front of you?
No, ma'am.
And how did Charlie talk about his sister to you? Charlie Adelson.
They said it at the beginning, Christina. I think it was administration in medical office. We be ignorant. I'm still laughing about that.
He didn't.
He didn't talk about her to you at all?
I mean, he told me he had a sister, he had a brother, but that's about it. Not any details.
You did never met the brother, right?
No.
Okay. Did it seem to you that Charlie was very close to his sister?
Yeah, he said he loves his sister.
Okay. What about his relationship with his mother?
Yeah.
Do they talk a lot?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Now I want to turn your attention to July 18th of 2014. You now know that that was an important day in this
Yes,
case.
ma'am.
You've now learned that that was the day that Dan Markel was executed.
Yes, ma'am.
Did Mr. Garcia ever tell you that he was leaving town?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember Mr. Garcia ever telling you, I'm going up north, I'm going to Tallahassee?
No, ma'am.
Would Tallahassee have stuck out in your mind?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And apart from being here for the past 3 years, had you ever been to Tallahassee before?
No, ma'am.
This is your first time here.
First time.
If I asked you right now what you were doing on July 18th of 2014, would you be able to tell me?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember having a conversation with Charlie Adelson about his brother-in-law being in an accident? Does that sound familiar to you?
It sounds familiar, yeah.
Okay, so you do at some point remember him referencing his brother-in-law or ex-brother-in-law.
I believe so, yeah.
As best as you can remember, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, try to describe for us what it is that he said to you in terms of referencing his ex-brother-in-law being in an accident.
Well, that was it. Like, I remember, or trying to remember, that there was one day that he had called and he said, yeah, like his brother-in-law got in an accident. I don't know if it was.
Computer modeling of non-human languages. So could you decode ghetto speak? Like, could you put Katie's speech into a machine and have it print out what it means in English?
A car accident or an accident.
Okay, do you remember, does car accident, does that sound familiar, or you don't know?
I don't know.
All right. Did he tell you that his brother-in-law had been shot twice?
No, ma'am.
Okay. He didn't tell you he had been murdered?
No, ma'am.
Would you have remembered that if he told you?
I would remember that.
How do you know Luis Rivera?
Through Sigfredo.
Were you ever close with him?
No, ma'am.
You knew how close he was to Mr. Garcia, though.
Yes, ma'am.
But you wouldn't, did you hang out with him if Mr. Garcia wasn't around?
No, ma'am.
Did you talk to him on the phone at all?
No, ma'am.
Oh yeah, Angela, I forgot that her mother died. Kind of rough, isn't it? You know. I bet, for Katie, I bet that made her, take a moment.
If you couldn't find Mr. Garcia, would it be a safe assumption that Luis would know where he is?
Yes, ma'am.
But you didn't have his number even saved in your phone, right?
I don't believe so.
Okay. You saw the phone records in this case, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Your phone records.
Yes, ma'am.
And the prosecution was talking about a call being placed.
Hey, I gotta disagree with you there, Stevie. If you are part, Stevie says, if you are part of many communities, you'll know that ghetto is used in a derogatory way towards people of color and specifically toward their speech patterns. It doesn't mean they grew up in the slums. Know where I come from, or Paris, you've heard about the Paris ghetto. I mean, ghetto goes back to Nazi Germany, but it's been adopted for many different things. I don't think it's got anything to do with color.
With a number that begins with 934. Do you remember that?
I remember it now because keep seeing it in this
Okay.
trial.
And they make a big deal about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me today or tell the members of the jury who it was that you were trying to call?
With the what? With the.
With that 934 number. Do you even know whose number that is?
I mean, I believe that it wasn't that Lewis's number.
Oh, no. Well, I'm asking you. At the time, could you testify today and tell me that that was Lewis's number?
No, ma'am.
It could have been Lewis's
It
number.
could have been.
All right. And would it have been reasonable that you were looking for Sigfredo and you tried to call Lewis's old number? If that was his number?
Yes, ma'am.
That sounds reasonable.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But you can't tell this jury definitively that that's what happened.
Yes, ma'am.
That would show also that you actually didn't know what his current number was.
Yes, ma'am.
You also saw the phone records of July 19th, 2018, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That was up on the board. And you saw the phone records where Luis Rivera called you first.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. On the morning of July 19th.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an independent recollection of what that conversation was about?
Probably trying to look for Sigfredo.
Okay, so you have been calling Sigfredo all that morning.
Yes, ma'am.
You now know where he was.
Yes, ma'am.
Where was he?
At Shrimp's house.
Who's Shrimp?
The girl that he was talking to.
Stephanie Carmona,
Yes, ma'am.
and she's the exotic dancer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Christina, you should give me a job. Give me a nice remote job. That'd be great.
And as far as you know at that time, was he living with her?
Yeah, he was living with her.
Did you approve of your children being around?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Was that a point of contention between you and Mr. Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, it's clear from the records you didn't call him first. He called you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you had testified that, well, I'll just ask you, were you ever trying to deliver money to Luis Rivera and Mr. Garcia at Jessica Rodriguez's house?
No, ma'am.
Was there ever a time that you picked up money from Mr. Adelson's house that was stapled
No, ma'am.
and that you then delivered that to Mr. Garcia
No, ma'am.
or delivered it to Mr. Rivera?
No, ma'am.
You have been to Jessica Rodriguez's house, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is Jessica Rodriguez? Bless you.
Bless you. It's Lewis's baby mama, I guess.
Mother of his kid?
Yeah, mother of his kid.
Okay, they're not married?
No, ma'am.
All right. And you haven't seen her testify throughout this trial, right?
No, ma'am.
All right. Now, you had testified previously that you do not remember what you were doing on July 19th, 2014, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If I were to show you a text message of yours from that day, would that refresh your recollection?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing the state what's been pre-marked as Defense Exhibit 36. For the rest of it, I'm also showing Council Mr. Garcia, good afternoon. Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Thank you. Now, without reading out what you're looking at,
Okay.
take a look at the documentation I'm showing you, which is right here. Do you recognize these phone numbers? Whose phone number is that?
Charlie's.
Okay, and this would be a
I don't
conversation.
think the jury could hear.
Oh, we're 5 minutes past plug time, guys. So if anyone would like to support the channel in all of what we do here at True Crime Metrix, you can find a link in the description for this video to buymeacoffee.com, where you can buy any number of cups of coffee. The choice is yours. We've also got memberships on the channel on YouTube. We've got super thanks, super like, super sticker, super chat. I mean, you know, with all those options to choose from, if you want to help us support the channel, I mean, you know, any choice is yours. Or you could just leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend, tell a colleague, you know, about what we do here at True Crime Metrix. You know, we're covering case after case after case. We're getting so many emails from you guys, so many requests for cases. It's like the list is building up and up and up and up. I've got a long list myself of cases I really want to cover. You know, who are we going to be covering? Well, we've got Michael Dunn, Michael Draker, Russell Williams, Jodi Arias, Chris Watts. Can't try and, oh, and of course, Sarah Boone. We've got Sarah Boone coming up. And what's happening in September, guys? Which is only, what, 3 months away? Donna Adelson's trial in this matter that we're looking at now. This case is just the thing that keeps on going. And after that, Wendy's probably going to be arrested. Can you imagine? And then there'll be another 1.5 years waiting for that. I got a feeling that trial, Wendy's trial, is going to set things apart, though. You know, I think Donna's is going to be great and everything, but basically it's like Charlie Adelson Part 2. But Wendy's is going to be different, a showstopper. We're going to see something unexpected going on there. She's really shown herself to have plan after plan after plan. And we know a lot of the cards she's got in her hand, but I bet you we don't know all of them. And I'm sure Georgia Kappelman's been saving up some real, you know, big stuff as well that we're just not allowed to know at this point. But anyway, guys, if you'd like to support the channel, we'd really appreciate it. And we would say that there is a link in the description to buymeacoffee.com where you can buy us a coffee and help us do the things we do. Or there is super chat, super thanks, super sticker on the video. What else was there? There was another one. Oh yeah, Patreon, but we haven't logged into that yet. And I don't even know if it really exists. We've also got memberships on the channel under our channel page. What does that give you? Well, that gives you all sorts of stuff as a member. Check it out. See if it's something that you would like to do.
Oh, sorry. Speak up. Whose conversation is this with?
Charlie?
And
Me?
whose name is that?
Me?
Okay. Now just review the conversation you had and let me know if it refreshes your recollection as to what you did that day.
Okay.
Also take a look at the time.
Okay.
Has your memory been refreshed?
Yes, ma'am.
Where were you that day?
Took Ethan to the pool.
Who's
I'm
Ethan?
sorry, I couldn't hear.
Took Ethan to the pool.
Okay, and do you remember around what time you took Ethan to the pool?
Hey, Leo, 544 Camp Street is back. We've got to do a show together, man. We can do two. I come to you, and then you come to me. You know, spread the word, spread the love. When are we doing it? Frank is standing on business with this stream schedule. I don't know what that means, Ian. Sorry, not Ian. Leo. Personally, I think we're doing too much. We're streaming every day. Yesterday, the stream was about 5.5 hours long. Granted, I was asleep for 3 of them, but only in the middle. It was really weird. I just woke up and I started to get up at like 4 in the morning, and then I saw 32 people still in the stream chatting to each other, and I just said, "Oh, let's play some more videos." You know, it was really funny. Anyway, good to see you, man.
I believe it was at around 11,
Okay,
like in the morning.
is what how your memory was reflected with the document I provided you.
Yes, ma'am.
Never gonna happen, Christina.
That would indicate to you that you had your kids that day, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You wouldn't be able to tell me if you picked them up that morning or they were with anyone else that night?
No.
Okay. Has there ever been a time when Yindra watched your kids?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, but you wouldn't be able to tell me exactly when that happened?
Yes.
Can you describe for the jury how it is that you started working for the Adelsons?
How I started working?
Yes.
Well, I had asked Charlie for a favor.
Oh, okay, Stevie, but the thing is that I would say it about white people, you know, from the ghetto, because it's not the historical term. You know, I think it comes out of Venice, where, you know, like in The Merchant of Venice with Shylock, you know, Shakespeare, Merchant of Venice. What is the word? Hath not a Jew eyes? I can't remember the rest of it, but there's a really good speech from Shylock in Merchant of Venice, and the ghetto is the part of the city where the Jews are supposed to be. You know, they're not allowed in the main part of the city, so they put them in the ghetto. And then that was adopted in Kristallnacht by Nazi Germany, you know, and it's got all of these sorts of historical connotations, but I don't know if they translate to the modern day. I could see in certain places they would, but you know, if you go to Rio de Janeiro, it's the same thing there, and that's got every nationality from all over the world just living in the ghetto. So for me personally, and you know, at least where I live, I mean, no one says that in Portugal, but in London they do, and it's not a black or a race thing at all, or in Paris. So, you know, I've forgotten where you live, though. I forgot NYC, huh? Maybe it's different there.
If I could start working for him.
Do you remember when you asked him for that favor?
No, like
Oh,
you.
thanks so much, Riding Shotgun, for your very generous super something. All the way from Wichita.
Year-wise,
Date-wise?
probably,
If I were to show you a text message of when you asked him that, would that refresh your recollection?
yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm showing opposing counsel what's been pre-marked as defense exhibit 33. So the opposing counsel is ready.
Why don't we do this? We're about to, for a break. We'll let the jury step out. Should be 15 minutes.
Oh, that was end of part 1 already? Okay, before we go to part 2, let's just have a quick look at our stateside map. There was another state that came up. Oh, Kansas. Yeah, we've got a red state now. Everybody in the chat, if you do not see your state in red, let us know what it is. And we'll make it red. Where's it going? Where's it going? Where's it going? Kansas is coming, Riding Shotgun. Don't worry. I just got to save it. I know that there's probably some fancy way to do this on the screen, but who am I trying to impress? Nobody. There we go. Oh, and Pennsylvania too. Yeah, look at that. Wow, how many have we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Only 33 more to go. Which are going to be the last ones, huh? Wyoming, Delaware, Rhode Island, Nebraska. No one cares in Nebraska. Christina, you can't have 3 states. You're Florida. You're from New York. You live in Florida. You're Florida. We're not including Vermont as well. Bruce Monroe. Where is Canada on the map? That's what I'd like to know. That's what I like to know. I think it's north. Yeah, we'll do the provinces. That's going to be part 2. That's going to be part 2. You know, there's so much less provinces in Canada. It's hardly an achievement. But I think we're still waiting for Manitoba, you know. Obviously, we've got Ontario and BC. Riding shotgun, I spend half my time in DC. Ooh. Doing what? Something political, I'll bet. Oh, Bruce, are you from Manitoba? If you play in Hey, wait, where are you from in Winnipeg? Yeah, my dad grew up in Winnipeg. Okay, we'll have to get a Canada map now, guys. We've got Manitoba. Ah, Southdale by the Mint. Yeah, okay, I know where that is. I think. When did you grow up there? How old are you, Bruce? Anyway, we should get on to part 2, I guess, guys. Enough of this geography chit-chat, but cool. I've been waiting for someone from Manitoba, and you're from Winnipeg. Southdale by the Mint. Is that it? Part 2? Tallahassee Democrat. Is this Tallahassee Democrat? You see, all this talk about the ghetto, Bruce will know about Winnipeg's North End, right? Would you call that a ghetto, Bruce? Oh, Christina, keep your money. You're one of our closest allies. You're a kindred spirit. You see, Bruce knows what a ghetto is. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, we're definitely doing Stephanie Lazarus, Bruce. Probably soon. We might do that, like, well, I don't think the Adelson case is ever going to be like officially over, but when we're going to take a break from the Adelson case, because we've got to keep it mixed up, we'll definitely have Stephanie Lazarus on. Yeah. Okay, where are we? Part 2 coming up. Okay, Christina, we're definitely doing Sarah Boone. I haven't decided if I have the inner strength for the Murdoch trial. It's not one that I like. I just can't stand looking at that guy's face. And there's just so many others that I'd really like to do. So it might have to take a bit of a back burner, the Murdoch trial. And the Wone murder interrogations, I don't know what they are. I'll have to check that out. No, Bruce, I think Sarah Boone is going to be, like, the judge has had enough now. Any more postponements, and it's it's going to there's going to be an issue. It's not going to keep going like this and like this and like this. At the moment, it's scheduled to start on the 7th of October, and I think it probably will. But we've got some little bits and pieces. Oh, excuse me. We've got some little bits and pieces to cover on Sarah before then. But October's going to be here, guys, before you can say suitcase. Right. Just a little quick one on the map, on the US map. Old Pueblo hops, it's great that you're going to be in Wyoming tomorrow, but that doesn't count. If it was just where Christina used to live in Vermont, or you're going to be in Wyoming, that's not really, you see what I mean? It's got to be kind of like where you live, where you watch the show from, I think that's the best way to do it. But thanks, and enjoy the what is that state called? Windy? Monument State, is it?
Did everybody could see it, please? Make a decision, question.
Second. So, Ms. Magbanua, I believe where we left off is when you started to seek employment from the Adelsons, Charlie Adelson. I'm going to, Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
I'm showing you what the pre-market defense exhibit 33. Take a look at the date and the substance of the text message, and when your memory has been refreshed, let me know.
What was the date you said?
She has it.
I didn't say.
Oh, okay.
You remember? What date was it that you asked Charlie Adelson to help you out with employment?
That was on June 24th of 2014.
2014. And these are messages that are from Charlie's iCloud account, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Not your phone.
I believe so.
Now,
The Equality State. What a jip that is.
why were you asking Charlie Adelson to help you with employment? Explain to the jury.
The primary reason of why I needed insurance for my children, and in order for me to get insurance for them, you kind of have to be in some type of bracket where you're making X amount of money so that I can get insurance.
So just to clarify, who are you seeking? Is this insurance that you were trying to get from the state of Florida for your two children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And was this through what agency?
DCF?
The Department of Children and Families?
Yes, ma'am.
And correct me if I'm wrong, if you made too much money on paper, you would have to pay privately for the insurance.
Yes, you'd have to pay privately, or whoever you're employed with, you'd have to, sometimes some places that I work for didn't offer insurance, so it was really, I needed to get insurance for them.
You understand essentially you were defrauding the Department of Children and Families
Yes, ma'am.
to try and get insurance for your children.
Yes, ma'am.
That is what you were doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you not work for Charlie Adelson at all?
No, I worked for him.
Did you work at the Adelson Institute?
No, ma'am.
Describe for the jury what you did for Charlie Adelson.
Well, basically, since he was doing me this favor, I was kind of like his assistant. If he needed any help with if a patient or something was, or he needed help with, I would help him with that. And he had like rental places too, so I spoke to him about that too.
When you say renting places, what do you mean?
He owned a couple properties, and then he needed to collect from the tenants in that place, or try to find out if everything is up to par in that building or complex.
Would you be responsible for collecting rent, or?
Initially, he wanted me to try to collect rent, but those tenants were so difficult, so I just didn't do it.
So you weren't working steady hours for the Adelsons?
No, ma'am.
You did, was it just odd jobs that you did for Charlie Adelson?
Yes, ma'am.
But you had a steady paycheck?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Stevie Love, like, what is the deal? I think that was another person that said that anyway. You know, that was Maria Gabriel. So, like, okay, Chicago's clean. And, you know, the north side of Chicago is definitely not the ghetto. But the north end of Winnipeg is. I mean, do you really care this much about the word ghetto? It's commonly used.
You saw all of the evidence of when those paychecks began.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have any reason to doubt that the accuracy of those documents?
No, ma'am.
It seems to be a fair and accurate representation of when you were receiving the paychecks.
Yes, ma'am.
And how long did you receive those paychecks?
I believe all the way up to 2016.
Around the time when
Yeah.
Mr. Garcia was arrested.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that sound about right?
I believe so.
And we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So just so that we're clear,
Spanish is a common language in the Philippines where she's from. You know, Spain had the Philippines.
on paper with your tax returns, it would only show you making a minimal amount of money to the government
Yes, ma'am.
and you weren't declaring any of your cash debts.
No, ma'am.
Is that the only place that you got cash from, was from your cash debts?
The only employment place?
No. Is that the only place that, well, did your mom give you money?
Yes, ma'am.
Did Mr. Garcia give you cash?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he steadily give you cash?
Not steadily, no. There wasn't like a set date that he had to give me anything. It would be whenever he had.
When he would, was there ever a time that he'd come to you with this, well, would you consider $1,000 a significant amount of cash?
Yes, ma'am.
And would he give you significant amount of cash to
Yes,
you?
ma'am. Yeah.
You didn't ask him where the money came from?
No, ma'am.
Why?
It could be from illegal activities that.
Objection, Judge.
Sustained.
Were you aware that Mr. Garcia was selling cocaine?
No, ma'am.
Objection, Judge.
Overruled.
Did Mr. Garcia have a steady form of legitimate employment?
No, ma'am.
But he would show up on occasion and just give you cash.
Yes, ma'am.
Why would you take it without asking where it came from?
It's for my kids.
Did you have some
Don't you think it's incredible that Katherine Magbanua, before she's gone on trial here, the state came to her and said, hey, if you tell us what really happened and who all was involved, we'll let you go and you'll have no record and you'll have immunity. And even if you were involved, there'll be no charge. You'll be free. You'll be with your kids. You'll get a job. You'll move on. And she said, no, I'll go to trial. And then she got a mistrial. Sigfredo went down for life. Charlie had actually been arrested before her second trial, and the state went to her and said, hey, if you come and tell us everything you know now and tell us what you know about Charlie as well, then you can go free and you'll have immunity. And even if you did something, we won't bother you, and you can be with your kids and you can get a job and move on. And she said, yeah, well, I'll go to trial. I mean, that's some balls, huh? Or just just stupid. You know, or is it omerta? Omerta concept.
Suspicion about the location or where that money came from,
No.
but you just didn't ask?
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk to you about another personal topic, your breast augmentation.
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you wanted to have breast augmentation?
For as long as I can remember, since high school, probably.
Who referred you to Dr. Raudner?
Referred me? Well, I asked a couple people, but I believe Charlie gave me the information for Dr. Rudner.
Do you remember, oh, it's Raudner.
Yeah,
Okay.
Raudner, I don't know.
Well, Charlie, Mr. Adelson was in the medical field.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you receive any other recommendations from other people?
I believe so, but I can't be sure.
Okay, but Charlie is the one that recommended it.
Yes, ma'am.
And who paid for your breast implants?
I did.
All right. How did you pay for your breast implants?
Well, from my cash tips.
Now, we saw how much your breast implants cost,
Yes, ma'am.
and it was around $4,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that sound about right?
I believe so.
Yeah, they were my tits tips. It's funny when Georgia says paid with her tips with a P. Christopher DeCoste has none of it though.
When you pay in cash, do you get any incentive for paying in cash?
Yes, ma'am. Like my initial consultation, which was like in the beginning of that year, that I got it. It was fairly high, so I kind of, I spoke to the doctor. Well,
Oh, I just see 554 talking about Shadrick Noble's YouTube channel where he came in and commented on the stream yesterday on our show on True Crime Metrix. The Shadrick Nobles was there talking to us in our community. And I didn't realize, and I can't remember who pointed this out to me today, but the road he's on the trash collecting truck in that video is Trescott Drive. He's made the video while picking up trash on Trescott Drive in Tallahassee. How about that? That's kind of weird, isn't it?
I actually spoke to
Has everyone seen the video of him, or should we watch it now? It's
the
only like 10 seconds long.
treatment coordinator, and I told her, I was like, if I was able to pay in cash, can you give me some type of discount? So they gave me a discount.
So when you got that quote, you basically worked your cash tips until you saved up enough money.
Yes, ma'am.
Did Charlie Adelson cheat on you, to your knowledge?
Like, was he speaking to other women?
Yes.
Not to my knowledge, no. I mean, I can't be sure what he was doing.
Would you have considered it cheating on you?
If he was talking to other people?
Yeah.
It wasn't like that, so yeah, I guess since if we were talking to each other at that time, so yeah, I guess I'd say,
Do you remember
feel like somebody's cheating on me.
Do you remember ever getting into an argument with him over a specific case of infidelity or no?
No.
When was your breast augmentation?
No, I believe it was October.
So this is October of 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
This is another big event that you remember, right?
Yes.
Now, when did you officially start working for Charlie Adelson?
September, I believe.
And we can
It
rely
was
on
like
the
a
date of
month
the
before
record.
that, yes.
Okay. Were you broken up at that time
Broken up with him?
with Charlie? Around the time of the breast augmentation?
Yes.
Were you still
Like, were we not seeing each other as often?
you let me know. I don't, what you
Yes,
remember
yeah,
on that time.
mhm.
So you guys were no longer seeing each other as much?
Yes.
Okay. How did your relationship with Charlie transition from a sexual relationship to more of a friendship? Because I don't want to use the term breakup, because
Yeah.
am I saying it correctly or?
Yeah, because it's not like we had an official date that we were, started going out. It's not like we have an anniversary date. So it's just, we just started, hanging out more often with each other.
Is it fair to say that you got frustrated with Charlie because he wasn't as available as he once was?
Yes.
I know this is another term that people use. Did it seem like he was ghosting you?
Probably.
And what does that mean?
Like when they kind of just dwindle down and not there.
Not answering your
stopping.
calls as much? Do you remember when that happened?
I can't put a specific time. No.
Okay, but is it fair to say that was before the breast augmentation?
Yes.
Was Mr. Garcia there to help you with your
Yes.
recovery?
Yeah.
Who were you living with at the time that you had the breast augmentation?
By myself and the kids.
Your mom wasn't with you anymore?
No.
Where was your mom?
My mom lived up north with my brother.
Which brother?
Is my name Frank, Maria? Yes, it is. And I'm way behind with the comments. I'm like 30 minutes behind. Are you even still here, Maria?
With Francis.
Okay. Your brother Francis. Where does he live?
In Tamarack.
Where is Tamarack in relation to North Miami? Is it up north?
Yes.
Is it in Fort Lauderdale?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear her answer the
Yes.
question where she was living in October 2014. I think she answered, I just didn't hear it.
I was living in an apartment with the kids.
Do you remember which apartment?
It
Chesapeake
was
Beach one?
around 125th in Biscayne, like around that vicinity.
So you moved from the North Bay Village apartment into now a different apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
But Mr. Garcia didn't move in with you?
No, ma'am.
Did he stay overnight with you when you were recovering from the breast surgery?
Yeah, he took care of me the whole time.
Now, the first couple of weeks with breast augmentation, are you practically bedridden?
Actually, I recovered pretty quick. So, I mean, I was pretty much driving on the 5th day.
Oh.
Yeah.
But even though Mr. Garcia was stepping up and helping out with the kids,
Mhm.
were you back together?
At that time, no.
Correct. Why did you move out to the North Bay Village apartment?
I moved out of it. My rent was just so high.
Do you remember at that time what your rent was?
I think they raised it to like 1,700
a month?
Yes.
And that was too much money for you?
Yes, ma'am.
The apartment that you moved into when you said on 125th, how much was that rent?
I know it was a lot lower, but it was probably like, I don't know if it's like 1,100 or somewhere around that area.
And how long were you in that apartment? If you remember?
I think a year,
A full year.
I believe so.
Did you sign a 1-year lease?
Yes.
In January of 2015, so this is now almost 2 months.
Yeah, Ian, Australia map. I can, we're just never going to get the Northern Territory, it's just, when is that going to happen?
After your breast augmentation. Are you fully recovered?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember when you returned to work at the clubs?
How did I remember? Like after my surgery?
After your surgery.
Probably a couple weeks after that.
Did you go back to work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Felicia Pastor, how you doing? You are flying the flag for Alabama, and good to see you. You've given us one more state on our beautiful map. Check it out. Bosh. See, there you are. Anyway, back to the case.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Ms. Magbanua, I'm showing you what has been pre-marked as a defense exhibit number 22. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is that?
Me.
Okay. Do you remember when, around what time that picture was taken?
Not the specific time, but it seems accurate
And what's the
on
date?
the timestamp.
Make sure you speak to the microphone near you. When you're looking down, it's hard to hear you.
It's on 4/7/2015.
Do you know where you are in that photograph?
Yes, I was in Fate nightclub.
All right. And it's a fair and accurate representation of what you looked like when you were working at the club.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're right. This time I'd move defense exhibit 22 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
Be admitted.
Permission to publish in the hearing.
You may.
And in the meantime,
Yeah, Udi, I'm 40 minutes behind in the chat, man. You know, when we made you a moderator, I thought this was going to be your job. But no, that's fine. You sit there with your big wrench.
without sounding too superficial, did your tips increase
Yes, ma'am.
after your surgery?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And in the
Yeah, Bruce, full freaking immunity offered twice. And twice she said, no, I'll risk it. And then when she got life sentence plus 30 years, she goes, oh, look, can we talk? And I'll tell you everything I know. You know, and I think the best she could hope for would be to get the life sentence removed, and she still has to do 30 years, which, you know, puts her in her mid to late 60s when she's out, if that happens. Pretty rough going, Katie.
In the meantime, around January of 2015, was Mr. Garcia in an accident?
January 2015. Yes, ma'am.
What kind of accident was he in?
A motorcycle accident.
Was he in that accident with anybody else?
Yes.
Who was he in the accident with?
To that girl.
Hmm?
Shrimp.
Shrimp.
Yeah.
Okay. And at this time, I'll publish the photograph.
Oh.
So Katie, when you were working the bottle service at the clubs, that's your uniform.
Yes, ma'am.
And how many hours would you work at night?
I mean, it depends. It depends on when they tell us to come in.
Now, this was about 5 years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You look a lot different now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why?
I've been incarcerated.
What is that right there? For the record, I'm pointing at a red thing in the photograph.
That's like the separator. So like when our clients come into the club.
Going to VIP?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we're now talking about the motorcycle accident.
Yes, ma'am.
To your knowledge, was this a pretty serious motorcycle
Yes,
accident?
ma'am.
Was he severely injured?
Yes, ma'am.
And by he, I mean Mr. Garcia.
Yes.
Do you know if Miss Carmona, aka Shrimp,
Remember, guys, like, share, leave a comment, but especially like. We've got 55 people in the chat, only 21 likes. That's less than 50%. That's no good. That's no good. We need some more likes. Everybody go and click a like, will you?
was she seriously injured too?
I believe so.
How did you find out that he had been in this car accident?
Actually, I think Rivera called me and told me that he was in a car accident. I mean, not car accident, a motorcycle accident.
Do you remember where you were when you got that message?
I was in Disney
With who?
with the kids.
And do you remember what your reaction was to Mr. Rivera when he told you that Mr. Garcia had been in a terrible car accident?
Yeah, I was, like I was worried. I said, is he okay? And they said, yeah, he's okay, but he's like badly hurt. But at that time, I was kind of like, I was not doing well with him.
And did Mr. Rivera tell you who he was on the bike with?
Yes.
Did that have something to do with
Yes.
how you felt about it?
Yes.
Did Mr. Mr. Garcia, to your knowledge, receive any money as a settlement from that accident?
Yes, I believe so.
Do you know how much money he received?
Not to the top of my head.
But it's fair to say it, definitely you and Mr. Garcia are not back together in January of 2015, which
No.
is when the bike accident happened.
No.
Okay. Let's talk about the Lexus. Okay. How did you come into possession of the Lexus?
How did I come into possession of it?
How'd you get it?
Well, I was borrowing it before because I got in a car accident and like around April of
Oh.
2015.
So let's start there. You got into a car accident of April 2015.
I know where you're coming from, Matilda. I think she's of all the guilty people in this case, she's the one that, it's difficult to say, isn't it? It doesn't sound right in my head. Of all the guilty people in this case, she's the most innocent of them. And I mean innocent not in terms of her, guilt versus innocence, but I genuinely just don't think she even had a real concept. Like, it was almost an unconscious decision. It was yeah, she knew what was going to happen, but she just really put it in a way that was like, well, people get shot every day, doesn't really matter, completely ignorant of it. And yeah, that's really, really bad, but I don't think it was evil like the Adelsons. Sigfreda and Louis, they're gangsters. I think Katie was just like in this lifestyle where it was like, well, and I think since then she does feel bad, whereas Charlie doesn't. I was watching last night the Phil Markel victim impact statement that he read out on Zoom at Charlie's sentencing, and it was clearly an indirect direct message to Charlie, because it was all about being a dad to a young son, and Charlie is a dad to a young son. So it was very interesting. I think we'll do a watch of that together, guys. But I remember the first time I saw it, I was thinking, is Charlie feeling anything? Is he feeling like shit? Was it finally brought into perspective for him, like what he's done? And I don't think it was. I don't think it ever will be.
I don't think it's possible for him. He just can't get to that place of introspection. But I think Katie has. You know, Luis Rivera, we don't see him. It's literally just the cost of business to him, you know. But that's still better than the Adelsons. But does Katie really deserve to, you know, just die in prison? Yeah, okay. It was really bad what she did, but I mean, if she could get a deal where they said, okay, we'll let you go, but you're on a tight rope, you know, you miss a tax return and you're going back to serve the rest of your life. We want you ankle monitor, probation officer meeting every week. You've got to be in employment, but you will get to see your kids and you're under house arrest. You can go to work, you can go to the store, and you go home and you see your kids, and that's it. You know, I don't think she'd commit another crime. You know, is it really worth it for the retribution factor? I think the Markels might agree. I don't know. I think the most important thing is for the Markels that the Adelsons face justice. I think they'd let Luis Rivera and Sigfredo Garcia loose if they could have that. You know, if it was over that or Wendy walking away from it forever, no consequences, I think they'd let all three of the second level, the second tier out gladly.
15.
Yes,
Were you driving?
yes.
What car were you driving?
My Mazda,
What color was it?
white,
Okay. Was it an SUV?
yes.
Okay. And did you have any access to any other vehicles?
No, ma'am.
And around April of 2015, with this car accident, do you remember if you and Mr. Garcia were still in a relationship, or were you still broken up?
On April
Are y'all-
2015,
Yeah.
yeah, we weren't together at that time.
Not together. Okay. So
Well, thanks, Michelle Amberger.
the car, is it total? The
My
Mazda?
car,
Yeah.
I got rear-ended, so it was pretty damaged.
And did you ask to borrow the Lexus, or did Charlie Adelson offer for you to borrow the Lexus?
No, I asked him.
You asked him to borrow it?
I believe so.
Okay. And let's talk about this vehicle,
Mhm.
okay? Was it well kept,
Yes,
clean,
yes,
and, but it had a lot of miles on it?
yes.
All right. So you were driving it for how long when he lent it to you in early 2015? Did you ever give it back to him?
I think I did.
When did you pay for the Lexus?
I don't remember the exact date.
Did you see the title transfer?
Yes,
Okay. With the date, did you pay for it around the time that you changed the registration, or you paid for it at a different time?
I don't remember.
Okay.
People in the chat wondering about Sarah Boone's trial. It starts October 7th. Well, that's when it's set. I believe it'll go ahead. But we're going to be covering, I think we're going to go over her interrogation video again and the body count. Just do it all again. You know, we want to get a nice, up-to-date, maybe we'll do some post-production, get some slides going for that one. Few bits and pieces. So subscribe to the channel, guys. We gotta hit that target as well. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. We just need like another 150 or something. We got to do that before July 1. before July 1. So help us out. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment on the video, share the video. Also, merch. Got so many great t-shirts. I mean, really, really good t-shirts, I think. I think they're going to be a hit. But I'm just trying to work out the best way to put them up. I think there's a site called Teespring, but there's others around. So I'm trying to find out what are, the pros and cons of one over another. But that's a whole job in itself, It's a whole job in itself. I need like a whole day, a clear day, just to go through all these sites and find out what is what and everything. But yeah, they're coming real soon, guys. Loads of them, loads of t-shirts. So check it out soon.
You know how you pay for it?
Yes,
How did you pay for it?
cash.
Okay. Is the amount that's reflected on the DMV registration, is that an accurate amount that you paid for it?
Yes,
So you did pay $1,700 for it?
yes,
It was below value.
yes,
Was Mr. Adelson doing you a favor?
yes.
Did you and Sigfredo get back together in 2015?
Yes.
When?
I think it was in May, the Pacquiao fight.
And why does the Pacquiao fight stand out as a significant date for you?
Because that was the day that like we hung out that night, and that's a significant date for me to know that when we officially got back together.
Now, between July of 2014 to almost a year later, was Mr. Garcia still actively pursuing a relationship with you?
From 2015 to
Between July of 2014, when Charlie started.
Yeah, riding shotgun. We're going straight from Donna's trial to Sarah Boone's trial. I mean, how great is that? I mean, we're packed, guys. Our schedule is packed solid with footage up until that point. We got a load of Adelson stuff to get through. We got a load of Sarah Boone stuff to get to. Then it's going to be the trials, Donna, and then pretty much Donna's trial is going to be, what, at least 2 weeks, maybe more. So it's going to take us right into Sarah Boone, and we've got to try and fit in some other cases. It's not just the Adelson channel, this one, guys, even though that brings in the numbers. We tried to do a little bit of Stephen McDaniel. We tried to do a little bit of Grant Amato. They're just, I'm stunned that there's so much less interest in those cases. I guess, I mean, the Adelson case is special. And Georgia Kappelman's fantastic, and she's been owning this for a decade, man.
Started fading away in the background
okay.
until you get back together with Sigfredo in 2015. Was Mr. Garcia actively pursuing you in terms of trying to get back together with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Did it make it easier because Mr. Adelson was now out of the picture?
Oh, yes.
Did you and Charlie Adelson continuously talk up until Mr. Garcia was arrested?
Yes, ma'am.
So from 2013 until Mr. Garcia's arrest in 2016, you continued a relationship, a friendship with
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Adelson. So if we looked at your phone records, there would be a constant communication with you and Mr. Adelson.
Yes, ma'am.
Also constant communication with Mr. Garcia.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you tell Mr. Garcia after May of 2015 that you were still talking to Mr. Adelson?
No.
Did you ever tell Mr. Garcia that you were working for Mr. Adelson?
No.
Why?
He would be very angry.
You kept that from him.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there a time when you began working for Jerome Obed?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is Jerome Obed?
Well, he used to be Charlie's roommate, I guess, in his house.
The house that has been discussed throughout the course of this trial,
Yes, ma'am.
the house that's in Fort
Yeah, I wouldn't say I feel bad for Katie. I just, you know, in terms of protecting the public, I don't really see a major advantage to keeping her in prison for the rest of her natural life. In terms of retribution, yeah, but it's the least important to me of everyone that's involved. I mean, people could say that Luis Rivera should, that he got too much of a sweet deal with 19 years and stuff like that, but I'm all right with that too. I'm, I don't know. If it does feel a bit awkward. I recognize that my opinion won't be the most popular, but if you want to be popular in this game, I don't think it'll ever work. You can't please everyone, as we saw today with the use of the word ghetto. Are you still here, Stevie Love? Or have we upset you too much?
Lauderdale,
Yes, ma'am. In Whale Harbor.
Whale Harbor Drive or something like that, right? So Jerome Obed used to live in that house with Mr. Adelson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. How often would you be at Mr. Adelson's house when you guys were dating? Did you ever sleep over?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember there being a safe in his house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, was it a big safe or a little safe?
I think it was big.
Like, and you saw my hands, I kind of went up to my height and then I'm 5'4" plus heels and I went down here. So about my height, like,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, so that's a big safe.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever see what was inside of the safe?
No, ma'am.
Did Mr. Adelson ever take or count money in your presence?
No, ma'am.
Like stacks of hundreds?
No, ma'am.
Right. Now, when you were working for...
Yeah, jibs and jabs. I agree. But I don't have majorly strong opinions, guys. It's just someone else said something about it. I was commenting to them. Yeah, she did a bad thing. She's in prison, and that's fine.
Mr. Obed, was he still a roommate of Mr. Adelson's?
Not quite sure.
Okay. What did he do for a living?
Dr.
Mr.
Obed?
Dr. Obed.
He's a dermatologist.
And what did you do for him in his office?
Same thing. Office, the front desk, office work, clerical, answering phones, faxing.
Did Charlie Adelson assist you in obtaining this employment?
Yeah, I believe he lost his employee, or his employee was going to move to another job, so he needed somebody in the front. So he's like, why don't you hire Katie?
Okay. Did Mr. Obed agree to pay you under the table?
We had some type of
Maria, the time is 38 minutes past midnight.
agreement, yes.
Okay. But were you getting paid legitimately some, but
Yes.
also getting extra under the table?
Yes, ma'am.
Why was he doing that for you?
Well, because he knew my situation. I told him, I was like, the only way that I can really take this job is if you kind of put me in some type of bracket again so that I can get insurance for the kids. Because he looked into trying to get insurance for all the employees, but there's only like 3 of us.
Okay.
So it was going to be very high, I guess.
All right. And then how long did you work for Dr. Obed?
Maybe a couple months
Now, what's the next job that you had after that?
after Dr. Obed. So we're looking at 2015, 2016. See, I'm a little mixed up on my dates because I don't even know sometimes what.
Yeah, Lee, Sarah Dugan's cross of Katie is the best portion of all Katie testimonies. I was going to jump straight into that one because it's so good, but I thought we might just run through all Katie over time before we do the big ISIM testimony from 2019. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I know a lot of people just hate watching Katie because she's a little bit annoying. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
You're on.
Definitely doing the Sarah Dugan cross though, one way or the other.
So I'm gonna move forward to Optimar Realty. Okay,
Okay.
who got you that job?
Yendra?
Was Yindra already working there?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's Yindra Velasquez Mascaro?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And describe for the jury what your setup was in terms of office space when you were working at Optimar Realty.
Well, she worked for Optimar Realty.
Okay.
It was the realtor that I worked for. I think he was just kind of like an independent realtor.
Mhm.
And we, since she had her own office and there was like a little section, it's really small. It's like there's offices after offices, but instead of cubicles, it was like a glass. And she's like, oh, like if we set up a little table, maybe you can just be in the office with me. So then I took up like a little corner of her office space.
So you guys shared office space.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I know you said you didn't remember, but you are now aware of the fact that your phone was being wiretapped by the FBI, right?
Was I aware of it?
Not then, you're aware now.
Oh, yes.
Okay. But back then you had no idea that anyone was listening on your phone calls, right?
No, ma'am.
Because I played you a phone call of you from April 14th of 2016 with that refresher recollection as to when you began work with Optimar Realty.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that sound about right for 14?
You said April
14th.
14th of 2016, right? Yes.
And what I'll do is instead of playing it for you now, I'll come back to that and then on the break we'll play it and
Okay.
so now we're in 2006.
Jibs and Jabs says, Metrix, stop your subscription to your hug a thug philosophy. You're going soft. Katie owes time for her crime. Yeah, I agree. But I'm not subscribing to any group mentality one way or the other. My position is my own, and all I'm trying to say, guys, is that of all the bad actors in this drama, my personal only feeling is that there is more humanity available in Katie than anyone else, including Luis Rivera. There's more regret, there's more consciousness of guilt. There's, I think she was just in this little fantasy ghetto girl thug life thing and lost her touch with the real things that matter in life. Made a mistake, in other words. Yeah, there was greed, and yeah, there was what is the word, like just ignorance of a human life. But on the other hand, Charlie was painting Markel in as bad or worse a way that Wendy was. To Katie, he was going, oh, he's a controlling maniac, and who knows what he said? He could have said he beat her. We don't know. I'm not saying that she should be released. I'm not saying that she deserves clemency. I'm not saying that her penalty is too harsh. I'm saying that she looks sorry, and she looks like she gets that what she did was really bad and that she regrets it. What happens to her is not up to me. It's up to the state attorney's office, whatever. I don't know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How are things with you and Mr. Garcia?
They're great.
Where were you guys living?
We were living in like the exact address
No, you
It
can give me
was
like a general
like-
area.
around 125th and Biscayne again, but it was just on the other side.
So it's a different location from the one that you were living at before.
Yes.
So you and Mr. Garcia then move in together.
Mhm.
What kind of, was it an apartment, a condo, or
It was a little townhouse,
a little townhouse?
Mhm.
Okay. What was your rent, if you remember?
probably like 1,500.
Okay, and that was between you and Mr. Garcia? And the
Yes.
kids were living there
Yes.
too?
Mhm.
Okay. So in 2016, you now realize around April, something weird happened with Mr. Adelson.
Yes.
Okay. Now, up until this incident of someone,
Maria Gabriel says, so you're 7 hours ahead of Montana Mountain Time. You're stuck in the future and I'm stuck in the past. So what does that make the present? Butt Crack, Kentucky? Or is it Butt Creek? I don't know.
approaching him and threatening his mother on the street, or not him, threatening his mother on the street.
Mhm.
You guys were still in constant communication, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And the wiretaps reflect that.
Yes, ma'am.
You've listened to all the wiretaps in this case. Oh, that's a question, yes.
I
Have you
think
listened to
so.
all the, yeah, the ones I provided to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what we heard in court is not all of the wiretaps.
Yes, ma'am. Bless you.
So I want to go over some things in terms of what we have all described as the bump, okay? And I have the transcripts. If we need to refresh your recollection, okay? You were sitting in court and you heard these phone calls being played, right?
Mhm.
But it wasn't the first time you heard them.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So now I want to reference you to the first call. And since you were a party to this conversation, you'll be able to help explain to the jury from what you remember what was going on, okay? So I'm gonna reference call 1392, which was on April 19th of 2016, okay? This is apparently the first phone call to you from Mr. Adelson.
Okay.
All right, this is the first time that he has informed you that someone approached his mother on the street. Okay, you remember that, right?
Yes.
Did you hear yourself on the recording? And you
Yes,
said,
ma'am.
what?
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe to the jury why you answered him that way?
Yeah, I was confused.
Did you have any idea or know what was going on?
No, ma'am.
I was confused. That was actually really believable that she was confused. She looks easily confused.
And Mr. Adelson told you that someone walked up to his mom and referenced an ex-girlfriend.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Didn't Mr. Adelson explain to you why he was calling you
Did he explain to me why he was
on that
calling
call?
me?
Like,
Hey,
did he
Michelle,
say to
I think I may have taken a wrong turn here. I'm not saying that
I'm not saying I'm not trying to defend Katie at all. But, you know, I also try and look through multiple lenses to find, you know, if I just look at it on face value, I could say, oh, it's terrible. She was the middle woman. Without her, it doesn't get done. And she connected the people who wanted it done with the people that could do it. And if, you know, it's all her fault, you know, but if we look at it through another lens, we know that Charlie is a talking, manipulative, lying piece of shit. He could have said, listen, I really need your help. This Markel, you know, he's the worst kind of abuser to my baby sister. He's affecting her career. He's beating her. He says he's going to take the kids for full custody, and he's got connections at the judge's office that can get it done, even if it's not correct. You know, we need him gone, and he's not a good man. He's a bad man. You know, Charlie could convince her of anything like that. I'm not saying that she needed convincing. I think she was just a greedy ghetto girl who, you know, saw an opportunity for a load of money and just started spending it in her mind and thought it would be easy. She's got this criminal boyfriend. He's got a best friend who's a Latin king. Maybe in her mind, they kill people all the time anyway. So what's one more a difference? If, you know, she tells herself in her mind, oh, people get shot every day. You know, I don't know him, blah, 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 blah. We'll probably never hear of it again. He's got kids. Well, you know, that happens too. And I'll get the money. Yeah, greedy, greedy, greedy Katie. But we just don't know the full ins and outs, do we?
You're my last ex-girlfriend. This is the reason I'm calling you.
Yeah.
What was your concern at this?
But just to underline it, guys, I'm not saying that she should be let go. I'm not trying to downplay what she did. I'm saying if you put her next to Wendy or Charlie or even Sigfredo and Luis, I see a difference.
This point, in terms of what Charlie was.
Or Donna, you know, Donna and Charlie and Wendy are beyond help. Absolutely beyond help. There's no amount of medication, psychiatry that can turn those people's lives around. They will be fuckheads forever. But I think Katie could live a peaceful, law-abiding life. And okay, Dan doesn't get to make a choice. Professor Markel doesn't get to make a choice. I'd be keen to hear the Markels speak on it. You know.
Charlie Adelson was telling you. Did you have any concern that someone was saying your name?
Yeah. Like, why are they mentioning my name?
But at this point, you don't even know if it's really you.
Yes. Because he said ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
Michelle, I don't support the woman. I'm just exploring ideas. That's all. I'm not supporting the woman, guys.
You even asked him who said I did anything wrong, right? In fact, Mr. Adelson said, I thought when I spoke to my mom, she said they mentioned your name in it. That's why I'm calling you. That's what he told you.
Okay.
Okay. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes.
All right. Did you have any idea what was going on at that point?
No.
Right. Now, he calls you again, Mr. Adelson, right? And he actually tells you in that phone call, which is the day before you meet with him at Dolce Vita. You remember that, right?
Yes.
Okay. He references in that call, which is call number 1394. That
Yeah, Michelle, her credibility is gone. You know, she's shown herself that she will lie and lie and lie, and if that doesn't work, she'll tell a small version of the truth, 25% of the truth. You know, there could be more to come, and if she has something that could be verifiable, if she knows a location of some information or a password to some information, just her word wouldn't be good enough. But if there's something that could be verified, that she could give access to, that'd be interesting.
there was something about an exchange of a paper,
Okay.
and that he was going to show it to you
Okay.
when he saw you the next day. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And he said, you're my best friend. I'll show you what it is, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Sustained.
What happened the very next day?
When we met up in Dolce Vita?
Carrie Ann T, the hood comes from neighborhood. Obviously.
What do you mean, like what happened? Like we went to Dolce Vita and he was just like talking.
Okay, so let's talk about Dolce Vita. Were you aware at that time that he had already met with his mother?
I don't know. I don't remember.
When you sat down with him at Dolce Vita,
Mm-hmm.
did he show you?
Haley, thank you. That is my sentiment, I try not to take any of this whole thing too seriously, It's just something that's happened and continues to be happening, and there it is, and we can look at it. That's all it is.
A paper with Dan Markel's face on it?
No, ma'am.
Did you see any paper with a phone number on it?
No, ma'am.
Anything with any numbers on it?
No, ma'am. He didn't show me any paper.
He didn't show you any paper.
Mm-mm.
What, to the best of your recollection, was he telling you at that table? I know he talks a lot.
Yes. He said, I know he mentioned about somebody approaching his mother. I don't know if he said girlfriend or specifically said my name at that time, because I don't remember that day that clearly. But I mean, that's about it. He just started going off on scenarios and I kind of just lost him.
Did he mention anything to you about a homicide out of Tallahassee?
No, ma'am.
Did he mention anything about his ex-brother-in-law being murdered?
No, ma'am.
He kept that from you.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he ask you to do anything for him?
He asked if I can call that number.
Did he explain to you why he wanted?
Well, thanks, Jibs and Jabs. I like you too, and I don't want to fall out with anyone. It's this channel, this community. It's not about me pushing my opinions onto anyone. It's when I started the channel, there were no subscribers. There was no one listening to me, but I still did it because it was just something that I wanted to put out of myself. And the thoughts and the feelings that I share aren't designed to please any one individual. They're my genuine positions on things, and nothing's going to change that. Happy to talk about all angles, but I think what I've been saying about Katherine Magbanua may have been taken by some in a way that it wasn't really intended. So yeah, ultimately, I don't have strong opinion on her one way or the other. I'm not on the side of the equation that says She deserves everything she gets. And I'm not on the side of the equation that says, well, she's been in for 8 years. That's probably enough, and might as well just let her out. I'm not on either side. You know, I'm not even neutral. I'm just looking around. Now, to put that in contrast with how I think and feel about Charlie Adelson, I can say wholeheartedly that that guy should be made to sit in a concrete shitbox until he dies. And that is really good justice. For someone like that, for someone who wants to live a fast life, for someone that is so into his image and his, what do you call it? Consumerist experience and activities, into a character that he wanted to play, it's hilarious. It's hilariously poetic, the justice that he has received. And, there'll never be enough of that until he's dead. Donna, it's just a shame she's so old, because she'll be dead within 5 years, in prison. But yeah, I have more ambiguity around Katie. And I think if you were to say, where are you going to put your ambiguity, on Katie or Charlie? I don't think anyone would be, more fire and brimstone on Katie over Charlie. And I think also to paint them with the same brush is ridiculous.
Wanted you to call it?
Because I believe they said ex-girlfriend or my name.
Did he ever explain to you why he didn't want to call it?
No.
Did you ask?
No.
Describe for the jury as best as you can Charlie Adelson's personality.
I mean, he just kind of goes off and talks and talks and talks sometimes. And I mean, I just sit there and listen, but half the time I'm not really paying attention.
Now, you've been incarcerated for the past 3 years, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had
Yeah, Mary, that's what we try to do. And I think the reason I do that is because, when we look at a character like Wendy or Donna or Sarah Boone or, I think these types of people are a lot more common in your daily lives than we think. We see these people in this big case, on the stand, in a serious crime that most of us will never have a close affiliation to, that level, a big murder, a hit, but in your office, in your work, in your school, in your family, other versions of these people exist. And they have exactly the same traits and the same patterns, the same tells. And if we use these people as case studies and learn how to recognize them, I believe that it helps us all. And if we can have a bit of a laugh while doing it, great.
an opportunity to view the Dolce Vita video that was introduced into evidence?
I believe so, towards the end.
I was able to show it to you.
Yes.
Were you able to decipher any of the conversation on that phone call,
No.
even though you were sitting there?
Yes.
Do you hear yourself a lot?
No.
It's Charlie talking.
Yes.
Okay. But you were there.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
there anything from what you saw in that video, did it jog your memory as to any specifics?
No.
Had he mentioned a homicide, would you have remembered that?
Yes, ma'am.
After you leave Dolce Vita, did you call Mr. Garcia?
I don't believe so.
Did you text Mr. Garcia?
No.
The best way for us to know if that happened would be if we had your records.
Yeah, if I looked at my phone records.
Okay. Now, you don't speak to Mr. Garcia until, or see him until when? After getting this information from Mr. Adelson.
Yes.
When is the next time do you think you speak or see Mr. Garcia? Because you guys are living together.
We live together, yes, so probably when I got home.
All right. Do you remember if you specifically told Mr. Garcia at that time who was being threatened?
Who was being threatened? I don't think I specifically said who it was.
Is it
It just-
possible that you did?
I can't say if I did it.
And I'm just trying to try and get as close, but if you don't remember,
Yeah, I don't remember.
is it fair to say at some point he does find out that this person who's being threatened is Charlie?
Well, his mother,
Well, yes, but the relation is to Charlie.
yes.
How did he feel about the fact that he now found out that you were still talking to him?
He was angry.
You remember the phone call where you are in an argument with Mr. Garcia? We heard it played in court, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What, do you know what Mr. Garcia meant when he said, the less you know, the better?
No.
Okay. Why didn't you ask him any questions in terms, well, apart from the fact that he hung up on you, but did you ever follow up what he meant by that?
That's okay, Wednesday. I understood your comment just fine to be generalistic. You know. All good, all good. Good to see you, Wednesday. Welcome back. Oh, what state are you in Wednesday? We're building this map, you see. We're building this map of all the states where we rock. Didn't you say you were in Ohio? Oh, riding shotgun, yeah. Ghetto Gate tonight. There's been a couple recently, guys. I'm really upset about yellow tie. Neverly Darling made a comment about oh, Minnesota. Oh yeah. We've already got you. Already got you down with a red state. Yeah. Yeah, someone got upset about Neverly Darling commenting on Rashbaum's yellow tie. Saying, oh, no, you really shouldn't be talking about people's ties on this channel. And it's like, what the fuck? You know? And then the ghetto thing today. Oh, yeah, Christina. Did you see earlier, Christina? Her comment, she said, oh, I blocked Christina, but then I saw on the screen the comment that she made about how I should clean up my filthy city. And I don't even think that was you. I think that was Maria Gabriel that made that comment. Are you still here, Maria? I keep asking you if you're still here. Rich Zito needs someone. Rich Zito needs someone named Shrimp in his life. What a cool nickname. Yeah, it is a good nickname, actually, isn't it? Did that ghetto rat leave? What did you say earlier, Christina? It was brilliant. We am ignorance. You're funny. Yeah, Neverly, darling, you judgmental, what is the word? Biased. You're so Thai biased. Yeah, we don't have any political affiliations Wednesday. Red is the color of True Crime Metrix. Rabbit says Katie got off in first trial. A juror let her off for sympathy for her kids. In Katie's second trial, they replayed that defense. Now we see Rashbaum stick with the extortion defense. Yet another repeat. I cannot believe they've rehired Rashbaum to continue with that. They should have really done a completely different defense. It doesn't matter what was said in Charlie's trial, you know, as far as what they can use as a defense. It's not like, well, we used the extortion there, so if we said anything other than extortion, it would be less believable. No, it's only the evidence that's produced in the courtroom in that trial. We've seen that before with a retried case where they completely change the nature of the defense. Yeah, Christina, I didn't think it was you. It was Maria Gabriel. Mary Bartlett, I don't think she's moved to Texas yet. She's still in Whole Foods shopping with Harvey. Michelle Amberger, well, nothing. There's no thing that I can point to evidentially evidentarily, whatever. It's late, guys. There's no thing that I can point to support that Katie has a conscience, other than, you know, some feeling I have that is not based on actions or inactions that can be written on a piece of paper. You know, I recognize something in the way her eyes move. I recognize something with the way she carries her speech. I recognize something within her general movement. You know, it's not all about what the evidence is, you know. You get vibe off people. So that's not going to be really provable in court. Maybe she doesn't have a conscience. I'm just saying that, well, I don't want to, this kind of took a wrong turn, you know. I'm not here to make an argument for or against Katherine Magbanua in any direction. She is where she is. It's nothing to me. Doesn't make a difference to my life. What shit don't you appreciate? Miss Anderson, what people bad mouthing you and saying you did stuff you didn't. injustice. Mississippi. Welcome, Sheila Morris. We're going to make Mississippi red right now. As if I care about Chicago or would waste my time. What's your beef with Chicago, Christina? That's the second slant. Michelle, I'm not going to help you understand her remorse. Maybe she doesn't have any. I don't know. But I think it's more obvious that other people don't have any. Wouldn't you agree with that? Yeah, Rabbit, we're hitting the 3-hour mark. But I guess that'll be the limit. I just think you know, the chat is always so active. It's hard to walk away. You know, I'm still got scrolling to do. Anyway, let's play it out for another.
Hi.
Oh, Rabbit, you think we should stop now? I just read the rest of your message. Well, it's only 12 minutes until 3 hours. Remember, guys, that's 12 minutes you've got left to support the channel any way you can. How can you do that? We've got buymeacoffee.com in the link for the link for that is in the description for the video. We've got super chat, super sticker, super thanks. That's about it for now. Or just like the video, share, subscribe, leave a comment. But yeah, I think buy me a coffee is the best way. I think we get, you know, they don't keep as much of the donations on there. Anyway, let's play out for the next 12 minutes. Felicia, yeah. I was listening to the jailhouse calls with Donna and Charlie, and she's going, "Yep, Daniel Rashbaum, yeah. You know, he based his whole reputation on this case," and it's like, no, he didn't. If he did, it's like his reputation will be that he'll put on any defense that you want to pay for. If you want to pay $1 million for him to do a trial for 2 weeks, he'll do it. Whatever the defense is, no matter how ridiculously stupid it is. And yeah, Donna's still sat there going, "Yep, he's number one. He's number one. I've read about him." Ooh, well, if Donna Adelson has read about him, ooh. Oh,
And what?
I forgot
Is
we
it
were
weird to
still on the
listen to
map.
yourself?
Yes.
You had any idea at this point that you were being
But what is Christina on about here? I'm going to put on my pearls, slip my Republican Party voter card into my pocket, put on a Lily Pulitzer dress. Let's check out what that is. A Lily Pulitzer dress. Huh. Okay. Does everyone know what that is? Let's share a tab. I didn't know what that was. Is that common knowledge? Apparently, guys, this is a Lily Pulitzer dress. What was the rest of the comment? I'm going to put on my pearls, slip my Republican Party voter card into my pocket, put on a Lily Pulitzer dress, then refuse to buy you lunch. I've missed something here. I don't know. What does Rabbit say? Ah, Rabbit would still like to do a rewatch of Stephen Webster from Charlie Day 2. Yeah. We'll come back to that. Maybe we'll start tomorrow's show with that, Rabbit. Or maybe we should change gears and go into Sarah Boone, like Christina is suggesting here. Yeah. All suggestions welcome. Or on Discord. Link in the description. It's free. It's 24/7. Access 24/7. I mean, check that out. Mongeezy says Rashbaum, or as Fancy would say, cash bomb. Will put on any defense money pays for. That is his reputation now, Metrix. You are right. And in September, he'll do the same for Donna. Yeah, and Donna will pay another $1 million. Yindra Mascaro. It's Velasquez Mascaro. We might need to add bits from an interview on YouTube channel, The Shaming of Jay, too, as a plus to her testimony. That interview is very interesting. Well, maybe I should write to Shaming of Jay and check if we can use that content. Or is anyone in touch with The Shaming of Jay? Can is anyone like on the chat a lot there or something? Yeah. Second person asking for Stephanie Lazarus today. Lazarus. Yeah, maybe. Oh God, there's just so many good ones to choose from. I'll sleep on it, guys, and yeah, maybe we'll take a break from the Adelsons tomorrow and change it up a bit. Just change the energy a bit, It'll be a bit more quiet in the chat, I think, but that's okay. We're not really here for the numbers, guys. How much is the dress? Well, it doesn't say a price. Let me see if there's a link. Well, it's about, well, I think there's one there for 60 euros. I guess that's about the same in dollars. Okay, so it's a Southern style dress, right? Well, I like it. Sure, why not? Yeah. There's someone. No, we kicked her out, Christina. She gone. It's white people humor. Yeah, that's why you never hear it in the ghetto. Oh. Metrix. Mongeezy says, Metrix, I would like to see you cover the Pat Sanford testimony from Charlie's trial. Those calls that Georgia plays, those are incredible. The wire tap calls covered during trial were extensive. Yeah. But I've got a bit of an issue with Pat Sanford, though. RoboCop. Oh, sorry. It's Mongeezy. Okay, well, now we know. You hear that, guys? Mongeezy prefers a soft G, not a hard G. Yeah, who wants to talk about Chicago anyway? Like, what are they even famous for? That stupid pizza? That stupid pizza that's not even pizza? What else are they famous for? Wind and stupid pizza.
What else? Okay. Blues music. But we got plenty of that down south, you know what I'm saying? We got the Mississippi Delta. We got other places. Oh, Todd Candhammer. Yeah, very interesting case, but again, I have an issue with that guy. I just want to smack him in the head. He really, really rubs me the wrong way, that guy. And not just because of what he did, but like his whole way of speaking, like, and moving, and the tone of his voice. I mean, maybe he doesn't like my voice. That's fine. He can sit in jail where he doesn't have to listen to me. But if I were to go and listen to him by choice, that'd feel like a bit difficult to do. You know, it's not like I like Grant Amato's voice or Stephen McDaniel's voice, but they don't bother me nearly as much as his. Okay, Mon Jeezy, Paper Bear, the case against Wendy Adelson's videos. I might put that on now to go to sleep with. Okay, Rabbit. Yeah, contact Jay and see if it's okay for us to do what we do with his video with the Velasquez Mascaro interview. That'd be great. Really like getting people's blessings for stuff as well, guys. Overdress is $148. I bought a dress once for €340, and it was fantastic. I mean, I never knew a dress could be so fantastic. It wasn't for me, but it was very nice. I forget the name. But I wore a dress once, and I looked great. It was just a white dress, but it was just the right cut for my body chemistry. Plain white, summer dress. Yeah, Monjeezy, the link for Discord is in the description for this video. I know how to dress and how to drink. T-shirt material. That's good. Yeah, Soap snores. She's been really annoying me all day. She's been like looking at me, waiting for me to do something. Sushi pizza. I'm starving. It's not pizza, it's goddamn cheese casserole. Yeah, I think the Chicago pizza is the real true crime, isn't it? No, Mongeezy, the gripe with Sanford is that I find it difficult to find a soul when I look at him. It's almost like he's just a cop machine, you know, like he was made in a laboratory by science, you know. You put that in contrast with Isom, for example, and I really see a person in Isom. I see a living, breathing person with a heart, with a life, with a wife. You know, with Sanford, all I see is a cop. I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I just find him a bit boring, you know, in his expression. It's like always cop, cop, cop. Oh yeah, he's definitely built. But that's what I'm saying. He's just a machine. The land of enchantment. That's where is that? I know where that is. The land of enchantment. Okay, let me go through them here. It's not Nevada. It's not Utah. It's not Idaho. It's not Colorado. It's not New Mexico. Or is it? No. The land of enchantment. I have to look it up. Or is someone going to say in the chat? Oh, it is New Mexico. Yeah, okay. Why? Is that you're in Kansas? Oh, someone said something about that a minute ago, didn't they? Hey, Mrs. D, you just given us another state. Where are you from? Las Cruces, Albuquerque, or the other one? What is the other one? Albuquerque, Las Cruces, and Santa Fe. Okay, how do I make this red? God, we're really rocking the Southwest, guys. Look at this. Where's the red paint bucket? Sweet.
Can anyone hear that rooster? Why is there a rooster? It's only 1:40. He must have an early start. Land of enchantment. Right. So we're actually doing better in the West. Saul Goodman territory. Yeah, Daniel Rashbaum thinks he's Saul Goodman, doesn't he? Jimmy McGill. So, where do we like? How do we want to do this now? I'm surprised we don't have Wisconsin, Michigan. I'm pretty sure we've had Indiana already, but that was a while ago. We need Baton Rouge. Oh, I need to do Mississippi as well. This one. Yes, replace. Idaho, Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Georgia, South Carolina, blah, 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 blah. Roosters crow all night long? What are you, shitting me? I thought they were supposed to do it at dawn. Where the men are men and sheep are scared. Welcome to Wyoming, says the girl from Wichita. No, that's not Massachusetts. We have Connecticut. We gotta get Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine up there. Then Jersey. See, Rabbit's from New Jersey, but you know, she's in North Carolina, so we got North Carolina. We got to get Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin. What's that one? Iowa. We'll never get Iowa.
Jersey girl in the house. You know what we should also do, guys, is we should cover a case from every state. Because at the moment, I think we're just going to have Florida and Wisconsin. You know, most of the cases seem to be Florida or Wisconsin. Am I wrong? Right, I know we've got Karen Reed and, you know, there's others that come to mind, but there's a lot. There's a lot of the big ones, you know, that are Wisconsin or Florida. Yeah, what are we gonna, like, we're never gonna get Rhode Island. Hiawassee Springs on the map. Hey guys, I guess I better close off the stream. It's such a shame. You know, we did the poll. The consensus is that most people want a stream that's about 2 hours long. But, you know, that seems like a really short stream to me. We need to start doing more like shorter content. Yeah, stuff that's not live. Upload stuff. Hey, Emery. Cat lady. Where are you from? What state? Yeah, what is all this stuff, Christina, where I fall asleep and people are like, is he okay? Oh, I'm really worried. Listen to him. That's not normal. Yeah, 2 to 3 hours sounds about right. I think any more than 3 hours is like you know, you've got a mental problem. So that means we should probably cut it off because we're at 3 hours and 17 minutes. Oh, you're from Ireland. Oh, okay, that's funny, Rabbit, yeah. How bizarre. You see, maybe that's what fancy fiction is missing. The niche, you know. She's never going to fall asleep for 3 hours during a live stream, wake up and just go, oh, well, let's put some more content on. That was really funny. Okay, guys, coming up to 3 hours and 20. I guess we're going to close it off there. So good night, everybody. Many thanks for the chat. Even though, you know, recently there's been a couple of things that are, you know, the Thai thing and this ghetto thing. It's like, I don't know. Almost feels like I have this strange responsibility to monitor. You know, that's what Udi should be doing. Udi, where are you, man? Moderator. It's in the title.
What does everyone think of the significance of paella? Man, you know, I've been wondering that for a while. You know, doesn't Daniel Rashbaum ask at one site, and is paella a code for anything? Is it code for the murder of your sister's ex? Like, he has the most ridiculous style of an attorney I've ever seen. So let's clear this up right now. I'm going to shift gears a little bit. Katherine Magbanua. Yeah, we got New Mexico, Christina. Where you see, yeah, we've got almost the entire southern border. We just need Baton Rouge. How can we promote in Baton Rouge or New Orleans? Yeah, that's cool, Rabbit. Yeah. All good, guys. Okay, I'm gonna go. But be kind to each other. Don't be an Adelson. And what does Judge Hankinson say? Go about your business. Go about your business. Yeah, and you know what I'm going to do to think about when I go to sleep, guys? I'm going to think, what stream are we going to do tomorrow? Because I think we're going to take a little tiny break from the Adelsons for a while and just spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. I'll have a think about that. And I'll try and put up that thumbnail a bit earlier as well. See if we can draw the masses. Draw the masses. If we book them, they will come. Rabbit, speak to your man Jay Bird. And yeah, Sarah Boone. I'm thinking about it, Christina. Don't worry. All right. Good night, all. Out.